morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, I am here to tell you about the next £100,000 Pokemon card. No, I'm lying to you. $100,000 Pokemon card. Although, having said that, it did sell for $129,000 plus $25 for shipping. And come on, right? If you're being paid $129,000 for a card, surely you can cover the $25 shipping. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being a little bit pinicky. Maybe we'll never know. But to be fair, $129,000 does come out to £96,000, so we're not a million miles away. It is the Lugia card from Neo Genesis. It has gone and sold for $100,000, and I've delayed a little bit bringing you this video because I wanted to check that it was legit. Now, obviously, when it was posted in Facebook, people said it was legit. But come on, we do need to check here. But no, ladies and gentlemen, it turns out it was legit. I hit up the lovely Primal Lugia, and let's face it, if anyone's going to know about Lugia cards, it's going to be Primal Lugia. Dude has a pretty sizable collection and a pretty ridiculous amount of knowledge. And has confirmed that it was a PWCC auction, and it has been confirmed that the auction winner has a history of successfully paid high-end items. So this isn't one of those auctions where people fake bid it up. You do see that sometimes, or at least you see rumours of it. People trying to fake bid up to try and entice other people, or actually letting it sell to one of their mates to push up the value of the card as a whole, so that in future they can sell that card for more money. But that's not the case here. The case here is that we have got a legitimate $129,000 card. So, what are the factors that have actually built into making this such a gosh darned expensive card? Well, there are a couple factors, of course, that are always here with the super high-end cards, and they are the ones that you should expect. First of all, we've got a PSA 10 card. Now, for those that don't know, PSA is one of the grading companies. They're not the only one around. And they have graded it as a 10, which means gem mint, which is to say a flawless card with no imperfections. Now, this is important to note because this card came out in Neo Genesis. Neo Genesis, we'll get more into the set and the card in a little bit, but Neo Genesis dropped in English on December the 16th of the year 2000. So as I'm recording this, we're just under 2 weeks away from this being a 20-year-old card. Neo Genesis started Gen 2, we'll get there in a minute. So we're talking about a 20-year-old flawless card. Even though a lot of people probably have a Lugia lying around, most of them probably don't have an absolutely flawless Lugia 20 years later. They might. I might be mistaken, but I'm willing to bet that the majority of people probably don't. And of course, it's a first edition Lugia. Back in Neo Genesis, of no Shadowless or any of that malarkey, but we did still have your first edition and your unlimited. This is first edition. To put it another way, this is the very best version of this card available. English, I'm sorry, I know other languages do exist. They are not as sought after as English. That's not to say English is the best language or any of that. It is purely to say, from an objective standpoint, English cards are more valuable than other languages. I apologise if that sounds mean. But you've got an English card, you've got a first edition card, you've got a Gem Mint PSA 10, and that is essentially everything you need to push the card up to its highest possible value, which turns out to be 71 bids, landing us at $129,000. And like I say, we're talking a PWCC auction here, which means essentially somebody else has come in to make sure that it is legit, which is kind of awesome. So make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, this is real. So why is Lugia so sought after? Because, and I know this is going to be an obvious statement, right, but I'm going to say it anyway just as we get going here. Lugia isn't Charizard. We've talked a lot about Charizard lately and different cards becoming big, etc. Charizard cards get and retain a huge amount of value. That is a thing. So what can we say about this? Well, what we can say about it is Lugia is essentially the Gen 2 Charizard. It is the cool Pokemon that everybody loves. It is the most collectible of the Generation 2 Pokemon. It's not Charizard, but it's the closest you're going to get in Gen 2. And it's worth pointing out that we got base set Charizard back in the base set, and then that was reprinted a couple of times in base set 2, Legendary Collection, etc. But the next Charizard we actually got in English was in the Expedition base set. Now, to put that into a little bit of context, the base set came out in 1999. Expedition came and dropped. This was after they'd done the Gen 2 stuff in September 2002. So we essentially have a 3-year period at the beginning of the Pokemon trading card game where they're not bringing in new Charizard cards. So essentially what we need to do here is find another collectible card. Hey, look, it's Lugia. Lugia's the one that we went and got. For what it's worth, obviously with this being the first Gen 2 set, Gold and Silver, this is of course the first Lugia card, and that does help quite a bit in terms of making it a sought after card. But it really is as simple as it is an old card. It is Lugia, who not sought after like Charizard, but still pretty sought after. PSA 10, first edition, and probably the fact that it's coming from an era with no Charizard. Now, one other factor that we cannot discount here is the fact that it was a PWCC auction. That is to say, it was run by a company that deals in these high-level auctions. And what that means is people can trust it. If you're a high-end collector that wants to be dropping several grand on a card, it is worth paying a little bit more so that you can actually get an auction which you know you can trust. Because if we just go for, let's go for slightly lower PSA gradings here, Lugia is not anywhere near 100 grand. If we look at some sold auctions here, we can see that on November the 28th, so about a week ago as I record, there was a PSA 8.5 first edition that was sold for $3,000. Or there was a PSA 9 non-first edition that was sold for $910. A raw Lugia, as in not graded, sold for $360. Though again, that was not a first edition and it was not graded. We do have a PSA 9 that has sold in the last few days, and it is a first edition, and we're talking $2,000. Now, it is a PSA 9, not a PSA 10, and there is a bit of a jump. There is a genuine jump both in terms of collectability, sought-afterness, if that's a word. There's probably a better word. Value, etc., when you go from PSA 9 to PSA 10. But this really was the perfect storm of factors here in terms of PSA 10, first edition card, really reputable auction, and of course we are in a pretty boom period at the moment for Pokemon collecting. Pretty boom period. So that means that values are inflated across the board at the moment. Anyway, we're expecting them to start coming down, and in some places they have a little bit. But let's make no mistake about it, we are in very much of a boom period. Now, we probably should mention the card just a little bit here. This was not a playable card. I've talked about it being cool and I've talked about it being sought after, but we are not talking about a playable card here at all. It really wasn't. We've got fire, water, lightning energy, and you had to discard all of those energy and you did 90 damage. Now, to be fair, 90 damage back then was gigantic, but it still didn't get stage 2s, and you had to get free energy on and you had to discard them all. It was far too awkward. The energy cost here is very interesting. It is interesting to note that it was, I believe, the first card that did have 3 different energy needed to attack. And of course, Lugia is the master of the bird trio, the Fire-type Moltres, Water-type Articuno, and Lightning-type Zapdos. So clearly here what we've got is an energy cost which reflects that. So thematically, I love it. In terms of interestingness, I love it. But please make no mistake, this was in no way, shape or form a remotely playable card. I have been digging around trying to find deck lists where this card did well. They don't really exist, ladies and gentlemen. This was not a good card. But if you were hoping to get a first edition PSA 10, let's just say it is going to cost you a little bit of money. This is not a card I really wasn't expecting non-Charizards at all to hit 100 grand, but you never know, ladies and gentlemen. You never know. But now it's over to you guys. I want to know what you think about this. I want to know how much you like this card, etc, etc. So go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.